This is the Post Shift Podcast, your raw look at the hospitality industry. Welcome to Post Shift Shots number 8. I cannot believe I'm doing this for 2 months. Thank you everybody for all the support you've given me over the last couple of months. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the content. I'm going to keep doing it regardless because I thoroughly enjoy sitting down and chatting to everybody every week. I've got some good interviews coming up, or interviews that I've done and you've heard already. So I'm really hoping that you enjoy some of the content that I've got coming out. So this one it's sort of a Q&A slash episode. I had a good friend of mine who owns Cold Room and El Pequeño, among other things, in Montreal, Kevin Demers, reach out to me and ask about upselling. And this is a pretty common industry one, and it's also hard to really teach because at the end of the day, teaching upselling is something that's based in something different. And I'll explain that by, to have a true upselling experience, you need to have the knowledge. And so for me, my baseline is teaching people about spirits, wine, beer, everything. Before necessarily the service aspect of selling those things. Service in the way of like napkin down. How are you today, sir, madam? Good to see you. How's your evening been? Who, what, why, where, how is not really what we're talking about per se when it comes to upselling. Should be second nature, common knowledge for you as a bartender, as a server. The who, like, I am Shawn. I'll be your server, bartender tonight. The why, what brings you to town today, which is a big one that I don't get asked enough when I sit at bars by myself in many cities at really high-end cocktail bars. What brings you to Toronto? What brings you to Montreal? What brings you to San Antonio? That's the what and the why. The how. How did you get down here? Did you fly? Did you take a cruise ship? So on and so forth. Learn little blips about their day. That's before we talk about upselling. The who, what, where, how, why is something that everybody bartender should really use a lot more often. But talking about upselling is based out of knowledge. So hopefully when a guest sits to your bar, they ask, something off the menu or a recommendation. So once you've made that drink and you put it down in front of them, whether it be beer, cocktail, wine, whatever, you should automatically be thinking about what they're going to have for their second drink. And the second drink, in my opinion, shouldn't be what they just had. What they just had might be fantastic, but as a bartender, you even if they do decide to have the exact same thing again, the bartender should be ready to make a recommendation. So if they have a Pinot Noir off the menu, do you have a second one, or do you have something that's in the medium range body? Medium bodied range. Sorry about that. I'm not going to edit that out because this is on video as well. So you should always be thinking of the next thing. If it's a whiskey, what's the next whiskey up? If they say they like Irish and they have an Irish neat or Redbreast 12 neat, is there another Irish whiskey you have on the back bar that they should try? Or is there a lowland Scotch that they should try? Or a light Canadian rye that they should try? There's a whole myriad of things that should be things. So for me in upselling, the big thing that I try and do is I try and have it as a flowchart in my head, and every spirit has a flowchart after it. So not necessarily every category, but every brand and every expression of a spirit, a wine, a beer, whatever, has something afterward. Now, for price point, I don't even chase the price point. If it is a little bit more expensive, 50 cents, $1 more expensive per ounce, great. For me, it has to be about what the customer wants as an experience. If they like Woodford, there's plenty of expressions out there of Woodford Reserve that has that are different expressions that they should try. Maybe they're a little bit more expensive, but you should tell them that they should try this and go from there. Someone who's just drinking a house bourbon on the rocks, give them a try of Maker's Mark. And so for upselling, it's all about that flowchart in your head where you start with a certain brand, a certain expression, and then it sort of flows down from there. And then the next one they do is a different flowchart. And I think when it comes to upselling, it has to be an instinctive secondary thing. And it should be as exciting for you to push something onto a guest that they may have never tried, as it is for them to try it. And I think that's where upselling is the key, is like, its experience can be great chatter and great talk and a great drink, but that little bit of expression of like pushing that next envelope, pushing that next level, and they may find their next favorite thing. And it doesn't need to come down to how much it costs. It doesn't need to come down to how much you're going to get tipped. It should come down to the customer's experience and what they really want. Like if you ask them what do they like, brown, bitter, sweet, so on and so forth, make it off the cuff that showcases that. But upselling is something that should be instinctive. It's really hard to to train because it is an intangible element, if you will. And so upselling is all about that flowchart in your head, knowing each spirit, knowing each wine, knowing them all indubitably, and then knowing the stories behind them. Because the thing is at the end of the day, the customer, when they do that second one as a recommendation, is going to want to hear the story. They may not want to hear a story when they order their favorite thing off the back bar. Not everybody wants to hear the history of a cocktail. Read your clientele. If they seem interested and intent on what you're doing, if they're looking at the menu or looking at their phones or talking to a guest, they don't want to hear the history of a cocktail or the story behind a wine. They just order that wine out of the menu because that's what they want. The next one they do, that's the experience giver that you can actually give them. So that was a quick little blip on a upselling. I'm hoping Kevin listens to this. I'm not sure if he even listens to my podcast. One of my best friends, I still don't know if he listens to my podcast. So Kevin, if you're listening, I hope that helped a little bit. There'll be a video up, so maybe you can just show your staff all this video. I'll try and put this down on paper so that we can sort of work on something to use as a training element. But I hope you're enjoying Post Shift Shots. I hope you're enjoying the Post Shift podcast as a whole. Again, thank you so much for the support. I'm into my second month here. To be honest, it's not easy keeping up with the post-production and working it all as a one-man show, including working with the clients that I have and doing that sort of work as well. So I appreciate everybody who's been supporting me. I hope you're enjoying what you're listening to. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of your week and tune in. I'm not sure what my schedule is going to look like this week, so I have no idea what's going to be on Friday this week. But I hope you're enjoying the Post Shift Shots and have a good week. Bye, guys.